All right, guys, welcome back. All right, it's been officially 6 weeks now, and for this week, I thought I would just do like a review of the last 6 weeks, how I was able to drop 30 pounds in just 6 weeks. All right, let's start it off by first saying this episode is brought to you by Anchor Down. Can you see the shirt? There, Anchor Down. It's a project that my friends Kayla and Devin started, and I rep their gear very proudly. I'll put a little blurb here where you guys can find their A, apparel, and B, just the message behind Anchor Down. Anchor Down is all about self-improvement, self-excellence. And so when they started talking to me about that and got me to buy their shirts, I was fully on board because I stand with that message and I think it's fantastic. All right, so we started this back in December, and let me just grab my phone here. So December 11th, I started this before Christmas because I wanted this to be difficult. Anyone can start losing weight in summer. It's relatively, well, quote unquote, easy because you're outside more and it's warm. But for me, I decided I'd start this at the most difficult time, just before Christmas, dead of winter, minus 27 outside, and make this a little bit more difficult on me. All right, so week one was all about addiction, and I made these videos purposefully in this order because for myself, I found that I was food addicted, quote unquote. I don't think it's like a full-on addiction because there were times where I could definitely kind of go without it, but not for extended periods of times. And I just saw myself just like reaching for it, like even unconsciously. So week one was all about addiction. So what I decided that I'd want to do just to break that addiction to food is kind of make the food, quote unquote, boring. And really that was purposeful in the sense that I wanted to make it clear to myself that I'm eating because my body needs to. I don't eat for fun. I don't eat because I have to. I don't eat because the food tastes great. And so for that first week, as you guys, well, if you haven't watched the video, go back. I just ate eggs and beans. And it's like in terms of like the variety of eggs, well, you can cook them a bunch of different ways, but after a while, after a week of things, it gets pretty boring pretty quick. But what that helped me do was just establish a kind of eating routine, and knowing that my calories were going to be around the 500 calorie mark, and I would stick to that, and I would plan out my meals when I'd have them. And I'd know exactly how many calories were in a can of beans, and I knew exactly how many eggs I could eat to make up that 500 calorie meal. Now, I also looked at my basal metabolic rate. So when you're first starting to lose weight, losing weight is all about calories in versus calories out, right? So it's like if you don't know what you're consuming on a daily basis and what your kind of baseline calorie needs are just to like survive, then you won't know when you will be in a deficit. So I looked at my basal metabolic rate and found out how many calories I would consume in a day, doing absolutely nothing, just being who I am at this weight. And so then that gave me a benchmark where to start. Okay, if I cut so and so many calories, I should lose this and this amount of weight. And so that was kind of the starting point of things. Week two was boredom. Now, that was again intentional in the sense that, well, people eat because they're addicted, people eat because they're bored. And so, with the boredom aspect of things, I was looking at, well, I want to quit eating just to fill, it's just for something to do. So, I pretty much cut out Netflix almost entirely. Well, that's a lie. I didn't cut out Netflix. What I cut out was just eating while watching Netflix. Okay. And so instead, what I would do is I would really focus on my hobbies. And for me, that was cutting hair. I was working on stained glass art projects. It was like getting more active in general, going to the gym, going for walks with Lucian. And then oddly enough, it's like it was pretty funny because my and Kayla and Devin, I'm the godfather to their children, and they had given me this Lego set for Christmas, and so that again gave me something to do. I don't usually build Legos, but hey, it was great just having another thing to do, to keep my mind off just A, wanting food all the time, and then B, actually eating it. Then moving on to week 3. Week 3 was actually then Christmas. And again, for week 3, it was just, I now know how many calories I can eat. I have to be consistent with that. I have established a routine. So it wasn't too difficult to kind of stick to, my calorie allotment and still drop the weight. But it's like for Christmas, like people are offering you sweets. It's like I said in one of my videos, that's how people show love, right? So I didn't want to be that guy who was like, oh yeah, I understand you spent all this time baking this and now you want to share with me. And I was going to say no. So, if someone offered me like a treat, I would be, I would be mindful. It's like, okay, how many calories, it's like, can I do it? Can I not? But I didn't want to offend that person. And so I did take a little bit, but instead of taking like a whole piece of like a cake or something, I just took like a small piece. Okay. The other aspect to that week was just emotional eating. And I told you guys a story of, it's like back in whatever, junior high. But I think what I learned through not going to food for kind of like that emotional support. Instead, just reaching out to your friends, reaching out to your significant others, and really learning to control your emotions maybe a little bit more. And yeah, I think that's a big component actually. It's like that whole idea of comfort food is kind of based around like emotional eating, right? So that's a big one. I found myself also during Christmas, it's like just, with all the family here, I did kind of catch myself at certain points where it was just like, oh man. And I'm the kind of guy who I don't have to be around people all the time. I like to have my alone time as well. And when I'm around all these people for extended periods of time, I do get stressed out a little bit. So I found myself, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I do want another cookie. Maybe I do want this, So it's like I caught myself. So it's like, for me, it was very important to learn to control your emotions as well, right? And not let your emotions control you. Which leads me into week 4 then. Week 4 was about fasting. And so fasting for me, I have my feeding window. So when I eat is from 12 to 6. And then the fasting window, then obviously, right, it would be from 6 to 12 o'clock the next day. What fasting helped me do was cut out late night snacking completely. And going back to the boredom aspect, right? It's like you find yourself, okay, it's like it's late at night, you're tired. Let's watch some TV. But then, you know, as soon as you sit down on the couch, you're watching TV, you also want some chips or something, right? So it's like I forced myself with the fasting to stop snacking late at night, and I think that really helped. And it makes you more aware of what you eat, when you eat, and the quality of what you eat too, because you only have a certain amount of time, and obviously within that time frame you still want to eat within a calorie deficit. It's not, there's no magic, I don't think, to fasting. It's just that you become more cognizant of the things that you do eat and the things that you do consume, and I think you appreciate the food that you eat a little bit more. But then also you still have to be smart and plan for those meals. So most of my meals now are very high in protein because I don't want to lose the muscle that I do have. I actually want to build more. So then the other thing that you guys saw in the video was just me at the sauna. And one thing that you guys, or that I used to do, and this kind of goes back to the emotional eating, is I would reward myself with food. So after like a long shift or something, you know, and it's like, okay, I worked double, you know, I made this extra money, you know, I want to reward myself for this. So I'm going to, you know, have like a special treat. But this special treat didn't become so special anymore because I would have it all the time. And so what I focus on now is rewarding myself with things that are not food. So that could be going to the spa, you know, it's like going to Thermia, or just going to re-sauna, you know, get some time in the sauna. It could be even just taking some time for yourself and going to the gym, right? Finding those rewards in the smaller, well, not necessarily small things, because you can make them big too. So for instance, for like my reward, quote unquote, for losing 30 pounds, well, really it's like I had this scheduled, but my reward for 30 pounds was, you know, add to my tattoo. So I got that done this week. And so there's different things that you can reward yourself, but just make sure that they are not food based. Then leading into week 5 was all about personal accountability. And at week 5, I found that I had developed a certain level of discipline now, where I am no longer tempted by food. In my workplace, there's oftentimes where people will buy food. Food will be readily available on the counter, on the table, and anything from like donuts to like full-on meals. And man, back in the day, I would just be like I would be so excited, you know, and just like go grab that donut and just be so happy, and like I would enjoy it. But you know, it's like that, like I explained in the fasting video, it's like you would ride that sugar high kind of for a little bit, but then you would just feel like bogged down. Right now I don't. Now I just feel, because of the fasting that I do and because of the food that I consume, I feel like lighter, I feel like fit, I don't feel bogged down anymore, and it's been great. So it's like what I wanted to get across in that personal accountability episode, whatever, week, was that the choices that you guys make significantly impact your weight loss. And it's up to you guys, honestly, like how fast you want to lose the weight. What I would recommend is do it slower. You know, it's like find yourself a balance, make it a lifestyle, so it doesn't become, so you're not yo-yo dieting. Because in the past, like you guys know, it's called, my channel is called Doing It Again. So I've done this twice before, and then I've gained the weight back again. So it's just make sure that you guys, when you lose the weight, you have a lifestyle attached to this, where this is no longer just a fad diet, a yo-yo diet, but you actually are able to consistently live this way into the future. For myself, the reason I'm doing this as quickly as I am is because once I lose the initial 50 pounds, it'll be easier for me to run around. It'll be easier for me to exercise. It'll be easier for me to exercise more, just moving around, like fitting into. I have clothes that range from, you know, a large to a double XL. Actually, I might have some mediums in there too. And in terms of pants, I have pants that go from a 34 to a 42. I think maybe not a 42 anymore, thank God. But it's like, yeah, I just want to be able to fit into some of the clothes that I haven't been able to. So for me, it's like the choices that I make significantly impact the weight that I lose. So even when I go out for like you saw in that video, it's like I decided to go out for sushi, and this was the first time I had gone out for sushi in like over 6 weeks. Okay, even before I started this, as I hadn't gone in a while. But what I found with sushi actually, and it became a trigger food for me, because after I had finished it, I wanted to get more and more, not just sushi, but it's like also sweets, you know, it's like candy, and it's like whatever. So it's important also to identify those foods in your life that make you want to eat more, or that remind you of the person that you used to be. And it, like, if you come across one of those, maybe it'd be a good idea to, you know, it's like, don't have those, you know, it's like, or at least if you're going to have them, it's like have them very sporadically. But yeah, anyways, that was week 5. So for week 6, I've kind of just been doing the same thing. Now, the thing that changed in week 6 is I wanted to test my discipline and go a little bit further. So for this week, what I did is I did a 2-day fast, and during that time, I was at the tattoo artist, Iron Throne on Portage. Fantastic guy. It's like amazing artist. But I was there for 2 days, and so during that time, while I'm just sitting there, I'm not doing anything, I'm not exercising, really not doing nothing, but going through pain. But I decided, well, I will not eat during this time. I'll still drink, but I will not eat anything. And so I'll throw, you know, it's like some scale shots up on the screen, just show you guys what 2 days of fasting will actually do for you. But I didn't do it for weight loss. I did it to see how far I could push my discipline with food. And yeah, I did it. So I was pretty proud of myself. But now at the end of this, I'm going to throw up a comparison video of week 1 when I first started, and then compared to now, and see what 30 pounds lighter actually looks like on myself. And that concludes this week 6. How to lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed the videos. So if you haven't watched the videos, I'd recommend watching them in chronological order. And just see how each one of those episodes and what I talk about really applies to your own life. This is kind of documenting my journey, but I'm also doing it to show you guys that you guys can do it as well. And I think, honestly, like if I can, if even one person is able to take something away from what I'm doing here, it'll be worth it. You know, it'll be worth those 5 hours editing each video, you know, to make it a 15-minute clip, which is super annoying, but also kind of fun at the same time. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy those videos. I hope I make them semi-entertaining. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, if there's something that I can do better. And yeah, special thank you again to Kayla and Devin at Anchor Down. Check them out and go buy some of their merch. Thanks to Braden for putting me on to the whole fasting. I think that's benefited me a lot. Thank you to my wife, who does an amazing job at wanting to feed me. And I have to say no, but she does it with love, so it's okay. And we'll see you in the next one.